Chapter 6. I was just trying to break it up, I called out through the bars of the holding cell as loudly as I thought I could get away with. I've been here 3 hours. Is this for real? I asked a deputy walking by. Not my call, he said without stopping. Who's on the desk tonight? I asked. Jailer speak for who's in charge. Kircher, he said, turning the corner. This is fucked up, I said, turning around, facing the circus of people in the holding cell behind me. Yes, it is, responded a skinny white guy in shabby clothes who looked like a hype or meth user. I'd been on the outside of these bars hundreds of times before, talking to clients, but I'd never been here against my will. I paced in the corner. To me, the situation was obvious. I was defending my friend, then defending myself. I was the good guy. Defense of others allows you to use all reasonable force up to and including deadly force if necessary. I was only trying to stop a fight. Unfortunately, to the jailers, I was the only one there with blood on them. My throbbing lip was swollen. My ribs ached. My right shoulder felt sprained, and both of my wrists were skinned from the handcuffs the officers refused to loosen. The police had handcuffed Pete and the other 2 men as I was yanked out of the restaurant through a gauntlet of spectators on the street. I had no idea what happened to them, or Steve. I expected someone would explain everything, and I would be released, maybe apologized to, any minute. But minutes turned to hours as I came to the realization many of my clients had. I was stuck in here, maybe going to be charged with a crime. Fuck, 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 I said out loud. Just then, a large Mexican man in a tight t-shirt snoring on the floor in the far corner let out a huge fart. Oh, that's nasty, commented a skinny, effeminate black man wearing a silver shirt and tight red pants. Others in the cell moved away from the flatulent snorer, while some snickered. The phone book in my head of who to call to end this detention was useless. There was no phone in the holding cell. It was an urban myth that the police had to give you a phone call at any point between arrest and the hours-long, sometimes all night, process of being booked. Another myth was they had to read you your rights before or after they arrested you. They don't. It's just they can't tell a jury about anything you said during the arrest unless they have. If you testify and deny saying things you did say, then they can call a witness to refute your denial, regardless of whether you were told your Miranda rights or not. A bailiff I recognized from court walked by and shook his head like he was disappointed in me. Hey, I called out as he stopped. Hey, I repeated, stepping to the bars. Man, I haven't done anything wrong. Will you ask Lieutenant Kircher to come see me? Why are you here? I was trying to stop a fight at Brubaker's. Yeah? How'd that work out? He asked, looking me over. I courteously laughed. No good deed goes unpunished. Can you help me? I'll see what I can do. You okay in here? He asked, motioning his head around the cell at the others. I could use a phone call or a sight out, an apology. I've got things to do. We all do, he said, walking away. I'll look at the report. Thanks. I don't remember his name, I thought, cringing. Thanks a lot, I called out to his back. An hour went by before he came back. Optimistically, I raised my hands in a questioning expression of, well, the report's not ready. The officers say they saw you punch one of the victims in the ear. Victims? Are you kidding? Look at my lip, I said, raising my voice. Sorry, man. This is upsetting. Not the first time I've heard that. What are you doing here? I asked, feigning interest. Over time, I've got a wife and toys. How long till they make a decision? I asked, ditching the small talk and getting back to my problem. Don't know. Not my call, he said, walking away. What about Kircher? I yelled out. He's gone home, he replied without stopping. What the fuck? I thought as my mind reeled at the ineptitude of this place. I slumped, cringing at the aches, onto the nearest bench, very little energy left in me. I finally slowed down enough that I began to look at the other people around me with some interest, born out of boredom. Then a spark welled up. Maybe there were some new clients here. Anyone here a jailhouse lawyer? I asked. No responses, just fidgeting. Some looked up, then looked down. 2 guys were asleep on the floor. One with his butt crack hanging out snored like a freight train passing. "Well, this is your lucky day. I'm Jack Shield. I'm a lawyer and I'm in jail, so technically I'm the only real jailhouse lawyer in this place. Anyone have a question about their case?" "What kind of lawyer are you?" a big black man with dreadlocks asked. "Criminal defense, 18 years. The highest felonies and all misdemeanors. Murder, death penalty, drugs, everything." "What kind of lawyer ends up in jail?" he smirked. "The kind who tells the cops to go fuck themselves," I said, pointing to my lip and holding out my wounded wrists for them to see. A few laughed, and some energy started circulating through the crowd. "What are you in for?" I asked the skinny white guy I thought was a hype. "Ah, shit, man. I'm loyal to the foil." A few laughed. "What the fuck?" a young man proclaimed. "What's that?" "You know, I travel light. I don't carry no pipe. I use tin foil to smoke my—" He gestured two hands together like he was holding a pencil between his thumbs and forefinger. "Make a little boat. You know what I mean? Like this and smoke it out one side. Then turn it around to smoke it out the other, you know." "Oh, shit," the young man responded. A few of the others nodded knowingly. "Oh, yeah, you can meet some freaky women, you know what I mean?" he added tangentially and laughed. "How about you?" the meth user asked the young guy. "Man, I got fucked by the demon vodka. I blew a .21. "First DUI?" I asked. The young man just nodded. "Third." "Damn, bro. You're gonna do some time for that," the large black man chimed in. "Probably 6 months, but it don't matter," the young man smiled. "I know how to make pruno." "Pruno?" several in the cell asked simultaneously. "Yeah, pruno," the young man replied with pride. "What's pruno?" asked the big black man. "Oh, I know what pruno is," the small black man in the silver shirt said. "Well, what is it?" the big black man asked the young man, nodding at him to answer. "They give you oranges in here," he replied. "What's pruno?" Some of the slower ones in the cell got around to saying. "Jail cocktail, man," the young man responded. "What the fuck?" the big black man said. "Oh yeah, it'll get you fucked up," the young man continued. "How does that work?" I asked to speed things up, even though I already knew. "You take orange juice, apple juice, the orange slices too, anything that has sugar. You can even put in hard candy and a little water, as much as you can get. Then take a piece of bread they give you, let it dry out, then you rub the breadcrumbs into the cup that is holding your juice. The smaller you can get the bread in there, the better. That's your yeast. Then you put it in a dark, cool place and let it sit. A week or more. It'll start bubbling." "Fermenting," I clarified. "No, it's the yeast eating the sugar in the juice. Alcohol is what it pisses out," the young man said, as if I'd stepped on his moment. "What?" the big black man grimaced. "Uh-huh, that's right," the silver-shirted one added. "Yeah," said the young guy. "You got to be careful with the guards because it smells real strong. When it stops bubbling, it's ready to go. Last time I was here, I got shit-faced." "It sounds horrible," I said. "It's good, dude," he laughed. "Hey, what are you going to do? It's jail." Some of the guys nodded, saying, "That's true. Yeah, true." "Better be careful," I said. "That's a felony." "Is it?" the young man asked, surprised. 16-2-3 state prison, I said. "No way," the young man replied. "Bullshit," the large black man added. "All true," I offered confidently. "I had a client from the reservation. He was charged with felon in possession of a firearm, attempted murder, evading a police officer, and battery." "Oh, shit," the young man responded. "We went to trial. 2 weeks. Not guilty." Almost everyone awake in the room was listening. But between the time he got arrested and the time we went to trial, he was in custody. Didn't bail out. He got caught in his cell making pruno. Got a not guilty on the attempted murder. He would have gone home, but they trailed the pruno case until after we were done with the first trial. Then he was found guilty of possessing alcohol in jail. A felony. They had the evidence. He went to prison on that because he had a prison prior and was ineligible for probation. "Shit," said the large black man. "Oh, fuck," said the young man. "Prison. For drinking. Oh, God," said the silver-shirted man. "The SWAT team came down on me, man," said the big black man. "No shit?" asked the young man. The black man nodded. "I was just a passenger. They found a paper bag on the console between me and my partner, you know. It had cocaine in it, and a handgun. But that shit weren't mine. Hey, lawyer dude, they can't charge me with it if I didn't have it, can they?" The question is, what can they prove? There are two kinds of possession, actual and constructive. Actual is you have it on you or in something you're carrying. Constructive is you don't have it on you, but you know where it is and can assert control over it. If you knew what was in the bag, then your case is constructive possession. But they have to prove you knew it was there. Did you tell them you knew what was in the bag? "Yeah," he said. "That's a big problem," I responded. "Damn," he said, looking down, thinking. "Oh shit," said a young Mexican man. "The cops were trying to say I had a knife and shit. In my backpack, you know. And like, I don't know nothing about no knife. I'd only stolen 2 cell phones." He laughed. "Can they charge me for that?" "If you keep confessing like you're doing now, they might," I joked. "Oh shit," said the big black man. I smiled and shook my head to calm any fears. "I'm a lawyer. Anything you say to me is confidential. But I don't know about all you jailhouse snitches." A few laughed. Somewhere in the distance, a man suddenly began shrieking and banging on a wall. "Kill me! Just fucking kill me! Ah! Kill me! Just fucking kill me, please!" More banging then. "Kill me! Just fucking kill me! Ah!" More banging. "Kill me!" We all looked at each other. "Must have just got the sandwich," said the young man. A few of the others laughed. "What?" I asked. "Oh, some of us been here a while. They gave us a sack lunch with a bologna sandwich and an orange." "Disgusting," said the big black man. "I like bologna," said a tiny Mexican man who had been sitting in the corner quietly the whole time. "Yeah, it was okay," the young man agreed. "Bullshit," said the big black man. The screaming and commotion went on for another 5 minutes. No guard acknowledged it, looked up, or changed their stride or pace. At 9 p.m., the guards pedantically performed their required thankless tasks, recording in our personal property, clothing, fingerprints and mugshots in stages over the course of the next 2 hours, moving me and the others, one at a time, in and out of various cells where we were made to strip naked, bend over at the waist and expose our anus and cough, then turn and lift our scrotums for the guards to visually inspect for contraband. We were placed in orange jumpsuits and orange plastic sandals and had our demographic information taken and recorded into a computer database. At 1:45 a.m., I was ordered out of the cell, given a mattress, blanket, small towel, list of instructions, and led to a central room with multiple bunk beds around the perimeter. Closed cell doors lined the downstairs and upstairs back walls. I put the mattress on a top bunk under a fluorescent fixture that was on, climbed up, pulled the blanket over my head and passed out. Clattering heavy locks disengaging and 13 cell doors opening simultaneously jolted me awake. I was in a 2-story central day room painted white. In the middle were 6 stainless steel tables with attached stools mounted to the floor. Metal bunk beds lined the walls. One downstairs cell had remained open all night for prisoners in the day room bunk beds to use its toilet. Prisoners emerged from the opening doors to the sound of flushing toilets, shuffling and yawning. Some made their way to the tables while others paced around trying to get their circulation pumping. A few knew each other. Conversations like, "Dog, you back?" "Yeah, my dump truck okey-doked me." "Seen Biscuit?" "Outs, doing hot rails for a week. Checks out, he's for real crazy." "Yeah, I'm 30 from my kick, then my baby mama and an 8. "Cool, cool." Another day, another tray. "Whappened?" "Violated, dirty test." "Oh shit, how much?" 60 with half. "Damn, bro." "Got commissary?" "Yeah, I got you." "Good looking out," could be heard. "Chow!" blasted out over an intercom. Through a slot in the main door, a brown plastic tray with food appeared. A line began to form in front of it immediately, and I could hear a few of the uninitiated being told by others who knew their way around, "Line up by cell number." I wasn't in a cell. I was in day room bunk number 26. Rather than ask, I just hovered towards the back and observed. A guard stood behind the window next to the food slot, requiring each prisoner show their armband before they could take the generic food tray. Hard to believe this had any purpose other than oppression. Maybe it was one in a series of oppressions meant to dilute and minimize retaliation. Jail wasn't a hotel. Breakfast was a viscous gruel passing as oatmeal, a few tablespoons of reconstituted powdered eggs along with 2 of the thinnest papery tortillas I've ever experienced, a small packet of condiment taco sauce, 3 orange quarters, and a plastic cup the size and shape for a child's urine sample, filled with reconstituted, non-fat milk. The oatmeal and oranges were palatable. Strangely, the sweetness of the milk was a welcome drink. Starving tensions were apparent among those who'd stayed a while. I kept to myself. They talked about other jails, what happened the last time they were in this one, guards who were to be avoided, how much time they were looking at, and how much time they'd done. I got the impression I was the only one in custody for the first time. After 35 minutes, the loudspeaker blared, "Trays!" The initiated stacked their trays by the main door, and the uninitiated copied them. "Lock down!" Those from cells returned to them. Those in the day room bunks, like me, climbed back into them as 13 cell doors closed in clanging unison. I lay there wondering about the avoidable troubles that had invaded these people's lives. Distractions, bad habits, and unfocused hopes that had disintegrated, leaving them in the uncomfortable current situation of having to redefine what was coming next in their life. Hoping somehow to replace that looming uncertainty with their old predictable lives that ironically had been responsible for landing them here. It was the insanity AA meetings talked about, a vicious cycle resulting from a basic human trait which naturally resulted from a law of physics, the conservation of energy. Doing what you knew, or typically did, took less effort than changing habits. Water travels the path of least resistance. Same restaurant, same thing off the menu, same TV shows, same Wednesday night. It is easier to repeat than reinvent. The pattern of repetition is a biological survival tool. If what you do succeeds in its objective, or some acceptable or pleasurable result, it is comforting. Predictability and hedonism take over. The downside is that the expectation of a particular result also constrains and stupefies us, becoming self-limiting barriers to novelty or discovering new ways of behavior in our lives. I thought of Penelope Cruz's line from Vanilla Sky, "Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around." It was true. A chance to choose differently, even in small increments until those little changes, over time, made a big impact, and the past unrecognizable. Raindrops can cause floods. I looked around at all the repeat offenders in the day room bunks. There were a lot of answers to their question, "Why is this happening to me?" And there were truly unlimited remedies, inaccessible only for lack of seeing, resolve, or desire to try. My thoughts drifted to the dead young woman's mother. Her face in the courtroom had been a mixture of anger and grief. I wondered, had she been consulted about her daughter's marriage? Did she approve? Did she see the mental disorder in Caesar and how it must have affected her daughter? Did she care? Had she pitied Caesar and hoped her daughter's love would cure him? I thought about her daughter, never feeling the breath of a spring breeze as it gently pulled at her long hair and caressed her face, the sun warming her cheek as the sweet smell and vibrant pink of flowering orchards near her house filled her senses, causing an involuntary smile on her moistened lips. I imagined days she would never experience, no children of her own, never again hearing, "I love you so much," from her adoring mother who called her every day, the words elevating her spirit to defy gravity. Never again having the lingering satisfaction of finality in anything. A sneeze pressing send for an email, saying goodbye, orgasm. Her concentrated divine self thrust into cold blackness and scattered ever thinner into eternity. Her name rarely spoken, the memory of her never considered for more than a few generations. Gone, as though she never existed. Her mother, who had spent so much of her life repeating the nurturing habits of holding, feeding, changing diapers, little kisses, learning patience, self-sacrifice, worry and hope to bring her daughter from a baby into flower. There was no other experience in her life like it. She could not have become the person she was with a friend. She could not have done it with a lover. With her daughter, she had learned to love and bond in the deepest way possible. Now photographs and little handwritten notes, saved old text messages, she would cherish desperately, no matter how insignificant their previous importance. They were her only weapon against what had brought meaning to her life from becoming meaningless. Her future hijacked, her happiness stolen, held unwillingly by regrets and bittersweet memories that would never release her. Their last conversation so inadequate. The phone silenced. Redemption impossible. Never knowing the answer to her question, why? Unable to stop the swell of tears, I turned away from the bars that held me a different kind of prisoner, and quietly grieved for that mother.